I managed to check out on Friday. Went to Las Vegas, was actually supposed to give a speech in Vegas, and thankfully the very wealthy people all decided that they didn't want to go to Las Vegas and canceled the speech, and I stayed and played golf. And I played golf at the Wynn Golf Course, which is incredible. It was insane. Went to the Grand Canyon and did not sleep a whole lot, but man, it was just nice to not have to take care of people and run to the grocery store. And it's been kind of exhausting the last couple of months. I needed the break. Won some money at the craps table and played golf badly. Y'all, I played golf in the desert of Las Vegas and still managed to find water. That's right. Got multiple balls in the water in a desert. But that's okay. I had a lot of fun. The course was tremendously beautiful. And it was nice. Took two friends of mine with me, and we just had a lot of fun. And now it's nice to be back. A little bit tired physically, but mentally sharp as ever. Definitely what I needed. But prayers appreciated. Scans tomorrow. I'll give you an update when I get on air tomorrow as to how things went. Right now, let me tell you about Vision Computer. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE, they can take care of you with scams these days. I told you all the other day I was here, and my agent got a text message giving him a 6-digit PIN and a website link and said he needed to put it in. And I was like, you might be being scammed. I can't be everywhere, but Vision Computers is, and they can help you with scams. Your relatives, your employees, their managed IT service, you can literally get them on the phone. If you have them as managed IT, someone calls you, Apu from Bangalore or Mumbai, and he's trying to sell you something, you can get Vision on the phone. An actual human being can navigate whether it's legit or a scam. Not only that, they can help manage your computers for yourself, your loved ones, your business. They save you money. Call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them I sent you. You might save some more money. For $199 a year per computer, they can be your managed IT service, and you get a special phone number you call. 15 seconds or less, an actual human being, not an AI chatbot, answers the phone. It's what sets Vision apart. They use real human beings. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com. Give Vision a call today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 12:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. The latest on the government shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson saying the House lawmakers should start returning to Washington right now after a small group of Senate Democrats broke a 40-day stalemate late Sunday and voted with Republicans to move forward with legislation that would end the government shutdown. It is unclear when the Senate will hold final votes on the legislation, but Johnson said today that, quote, the nightmare is finally coming to an end after the Senate voted 60-40 to consider a compromise bill to fund the government. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of New York voted against moving ahead with the package. We'll, of course, be watching. Check back for updates. Your weather for today, a mix of clouds and sun, and it's going to be staying cold all day. You might see a snow flurry or two. Not to worry, though. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says no accumulation is expected. And with these freezing temperatures, warming centers are open now to residents around the metro area as we are experiencing these cold temperatures. Centers in Atlanta, Gwinnett, Cobb, all offering warming locations for those in need. We have a list at WSBradio.com. The FDA recalls a baby formula that was sold nationwide after it was linked to 13 cases of infant botulism in 10 states. All 13 babies did end up in the hospital. The formula is from ByHeart Incorporated. It was sold online. So far, no cases have been reported here in Georgia. We do have information on that for you on our website. We were spending last month for sure. Adobe says consumers spent $88.7 billion shopping online, and that's up more than 8% from last year. Adobe's Vivek Pandya.
We're still anticipating a decent clip of spending throughout the season, but this October period is especially heightened and accelerated.
And he says it is accelerated because consumers feared more possible price hikes in the weeks leading up to the holiday season. And turkey prices will be up 40% this Thanksgiving season over last year. It's largely because of bird flu. The Farm Bureau reporting that there were more than 600,000 cases in September, and they expect that number to grow. As of now, that means turkeys will cost an average of $1.32 a pound. That's up 38 cents from last year. It's 12:32.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter for D. Geller and Son. Treat yourself to Atlanta's best selection of fashion trends like stackable rings and gemstone necklaces. Guys, you want a bold new watch or a curb link chain? Ladies, trendy gold bracelet or personal birthstone necklace? I need you right now to go to dgeller.com or visit their showrooms in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. What's on your wish list? No pressure. Come try on or mix and match. dgeller.com.
Septic systems are not a do-it-yourself project. You need an expert. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. We're Dave Baker's septic experts on the Home Fix-It show. My licensed and insured team specialize in solving your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Details online.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Normally, Rufus doesn't like the vet. But these veterans are his favorite. They protect our country. Veterans Day is November 11th, and Findlay Roofing honors our local vets. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, veterans get a special $1,500 discount on roof replacement. Offer ends Veterans Day. 0% financing is available. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, Sabrina, only seeing a few brake lights right now through Midtown and downtown, just scattered. 75-85 south from 17th Street down toward Cortlandt Street. Northbound tapping the brakes as you clear Freedom Parkway. And we got traffic light issues over on the southwest side, Camp Creek Parkway, at Center Parkway, Princeton Lakes Parkway. Treat that as a four-way stop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy and cold. High 39. A hard freeze for tonight. Lows in the mid to upper 20s.
All right, we have hit 40 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Sharp analysis, cutting through the chaos, giving unfiltered takes on politics, culture, and faith. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Don't forget, text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, all that. By the way, I'll be touring the venue tomorrow for the Not Safe for Radio show. If you're thinking of presents for friends and family for the holidays, stand by. We'll make the announcement as soon as we can, once we've signed on the dotted line for the venue. But we're looking at doing it just outside the perimeter in Atlanta. And then we're also looking at taking it on the road to a number of other cities. You know, I said I was going to do it one time. Now it was like, you got to do more, you got to do more, you got to do more. So just stand by, and I'll get you the details as soon as I can. It'll be a great Christmas present. Remember, it sold out in 6 hours last time, so we're getting a larger venue this time. I want to shift from the shutdown. We'll get back to it in the economic news of the day, the president's plans and things like that. We'll get to it. But I want to talk for a moment about transgenderism, because there's some interesting news out there. Sane and normal people know basic biology. If you have XY chromosomes, you're a male, XX, and you're a female. It's a little more complicated than that, but only because some people can have mutations where they're born as intersex, They have characteristics of male and female, but in either way, they default to one or the other. That is, they have more outward appearance of being female or more outward appearance of being male. I had a cousin who had that genetic mutation and was very much a woman and married, but also couldn't have kids, among other things. And the left has tried to complicate basic genetics. And, even for people who have extra chromosomes in intersex situations, it's the first two pairings, the XX and the XY, that are determinative for what sex you are. And this is not in dispute with biologists. This is not in dispute with geneticists. It's only in dispute with the pseudoscience of the left. They have doctors who will tell you otherwise, but there are doctors who tell you that vaccines cause autism. You can find a doctor to tell you whatever you want. That means he's right. There's been a common trend in the rise of transgenderism in the United States that has gone largely unremarked upon by major members of the media because of the hate that might be directed in various people's way. And that is, there appears to be a pattern of kids who are special needs, particularly kids with autism, being surrounded by indoctrinators and others who convince the kids they're trans. This has been a remarkable pattern that the vast number of kids who have identified as transgenderism have other mental issues. And in some cases, the girls or the boys who identify as trans girls, in many, 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 many cases, have a deeply influential mother who has issues with men. There have been more than one well-documented cases of moms who have issues with men who give birth to boys who pressure them into transitioning to girls. These are things that the media doesn't like to talk about, that the left sure doesn't like to talk about, because the left is so defined by victim culture and victimology and intersectionalism that they've given rise to the legitimacy of transgenderism. But now there's actually a lot of data out that transgenderism is collapsing among the young. This is from Eric Kaufman at Skeptic. A few weeks ago, I published results from 6 waves of the massive Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, annual survey of undergraduate students. The data were unequivocal. The share of students identifying as a gender other than male or female, that is non-binary, peaked in 2023 and has halved in 2 years. It's a stunning reversal in the culture that will reverberate through society and politics. The survey captures over 50,000 students per year from nearly 250 leading American universities. Its size guarantees statistical power and enables us to look at small subgroups like queer and trans people. FIRE data is a random sample, a small percentage of each university student body. And I wanted to be sure to triangulate with 2 surveys capturing a much greater share of the total. One comes from elite Andover Phillips Prep School near Boston. The other is run by Brown University's student newspaper. Both interview a far higher share of their target pool than FIRE surveys, up to 50% for Brown freshmen and 75% for Andover. The surveys corroborate the peak trans pattern in the FIRE data, revealing a rapid decline from 2023. I expanded more fully these findings in my University of Buckingham Center for Heterodox Social Sciences report, which also found that the decline in non-binary identification was matched by a 10-point drop in unconventional sexual identifications, namely in students identifying their sexual orientation as something other than heterosexual or homosexual, such as pansexual, queer, questioning, bisexual, asexual. Many students that identify as neither male nor female also identify as sexually nonconforming. Sexual orientation has been measured in more youth surveys for longer than gender identity has been, while gay and lesbian share remained flat through 2020 to 25. The broader non-heterosexual group, covering bisexual, queer, pansexual, asexual, questioning, and other labels, rose steeply to 2023 and then fell across a wide range of surveys. The non-heterosexual portion peaked at around 30% overall, reaching as high as 40% as progressive-leaning Ivy League schools like Brown and 50% in liberal arts colleges such as Smith. Importantly, the decline in nonconforming sexual orientation parallels the decline in nonconforming gender identity, suggesting a common underlying dynamic. You should know that there are some people deeply invested in the trans issues who insist all the data is wrong. All the data is wrong. But it's not actually the case. All the data is not wrong. In fact, multiple colleges and universities are seeing this trend. And you know what's happening is that the young people now coming into college have been repulsed by what they've seen. Repulsed. Many of us my age have been repulsed as well, seeing some of this nonsense. So one researcher is Jen Twing, professor of psychology at San Diego State University, the leading quantitative youth trends researcher in the country. She found that in the youngest cohort, they were the least likely to identify as trans, portending a future decline in transgenderism. There have been a number of skeptics who have, through this information, declared transgenderism a social contagion. Twinge analyzed data from the Monitoring the Future survey, which surveys teens as young as 13. The share of 8th, 10th, and 12th graders identifying as neither male nor female dropped by half between 2022 and 2024, the change sharpest among 8th graders. Jen Twinge writes that the trend confirms a broader pattern in which new patterns arise first among the youngest, spreading later and less forcibly to older teens. In other words, what's the trend? Well, this reminds me of my son. My 16-year-old son last year would have been 15 at the time. My daughter was in our kitchen. She was discussing a kid at her college who identifies as trans and uses she, they pronouns. That's right, she, they. Very individualized, boutique gender. Another kid in class referred to the girl as a she. Remember, the kid uses she, they pronouns. The other kid referred to her as she. The professor frog marched the girl up to the front of the room and berated her. This girl from rural Georgia at a purportedly Christian-adjacent university getting berated for failure to respect someone's pronouns in college. My daughter is recounting the insanity of this, and my son, who is 15 at the time, says, "Y'all, I know I'm one of them, but I hate my generation." Yes. There's been an insanity that has swept through it, and here's what it is. Let's be real honest about what this is. There are people in a world of conformity who decided they wanted a boutique custom gender identity to stand out. It's a pathological narcissism is what it is. Everybody's got to respect your pronouns. Listen, if you've got to respect someone else's pronouns, that person has power over you. If you can get in trouble for refusing to play their pronoun game, they have power over you, and that's what they wanted. They don't feel in charge, and so they feel in charge by identifying as something that they're not, and that gives them leverage over you. For those of you British, leverage. It gives them leverage over you. It gives them the ability to control your thoughts and actions and words as they create a boutique custom reality for themselves that everyone else is forced to, through bullying and punishment, honor. And it sounds like the youngest cohort out there is done being bullied. They're tired of it. Kids my kids' age now make fun of it. They make jokes about it. Now, here's the downside of it, and this is the real-world downside of it. A lot of doctors and academics went along with what everyone else realized was nonsense and have done a lot of harm and damage. There are people now permanently sterilized and permanently disfigured because doctors, sometimes parents, academics, and others went along with what was and always has been a social contagion. That damage can't be reversed. And what's going to happen is the parents, in particular, and a lot of the doctors are going to be the last ones to recognize that they were involved in a social contagion. Think of the very few, and it actually wasn't very many, but think of the very few women in Salem who were killed because the public decided they were witches. It was a social contagion. Young people got whipped into a frenzy, convinced that other people were witches. They made accusations. A few women were killed. The people who were complicit in the deaths of those women could never deny what they claimed. Even though it wasn't true, they could never deny it. It's the same thing here. The people who have encouraged kids to chop off body parts and have massive grueling surgeries and sterilize themselves are never going to be able to admit it. Colin Wright of the Wall Street Journal. I was an academic scientist at Penn State in February 2020 when I became the target of an online mob for tweeting about transgender identity. I shared a link to an article from The Guardian with the accompanying quote, Sweden's Board of Health and Welfare confirmed a 1,500% rise between 2008 and 2018 in gender dysphoria diagnoses between 13 to 17-year-old born as girls. My commentary was brief, 2 words, social contagion. Within hours, colleagues denounced me as a transphobic bigot. Anonymous activists emailed universities to poison my job prospects. A professional job board even published mock job listings warning others not to hire me. My academic career never recovered. But I wasn't making an offhand remark or comparing a group of people to a disease vector, as some accused me of doing. I was referring to research published by Lisa Littman, a physician and researcher formerly with Brown University who has coined the term rapid onset gender dysphoria in a 2018 peer-reviewed paper to describe a newly emerging cohort of adolescents, overwhelmingly girls with no childhood history of gender dysphoria or even sex nonconformity, who suddenly began describing themselves as transgender, often after friends in their peer group did the same. Dr. Littman proposed that the pattern was best explained by social contagion, meaning the spread of ideas or behaviors through peer influence. The term isn't an insult. It's well-established sociological concept used to describe how trends such as eating disorders and even suicide clusters can spread. Suggesting that social factors might cause or contribute to transgender identification violated fashionable left-wing dogma that gender identity is innate and an immutable trait, and that some people are born with one that conflicts with their sex. The claim underpins both medical practice and legal strategy. Progressives treat those who question these ideas as heretics or bigots, and yet you can't have a 50% drop-off in people identifying themselves as trans unless it's a social contagion. Genetic mutations don't work their way out of the system that quickly. It's been a social contagion that has informed public policy for the Democratic Party, that has driven them to the edges of society. And it turns out they were scammed by a social contagion. Let that be a lesson to all of us when waves of public policy based on broad popular support come about, when it turns out what's actually happening is just really a fad.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1251 Cool Day Carrier Traffic Center. I-20 westbound, tapping the brakes into cab through the work zone. Wesley Chapel over to 285. DOT says there's left lane construction. 20 eastbound approaching Wesley Chapel. Heads up for that. Downtown, stall pushed off to the right. 7585 southbound at North Avenue, exit 249. Those delays behind it are just moderate from 17th Street in Midtown. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of common threads in nutrition education at anthem.com/stream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
From your source for news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a three-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a new climate summit out on climate change. It's happening in Brazil. Remember, they leveled part of the rainforest to build a road to get the conference delegates to the COP conference. So it is not a coincidence that the United States of America is about to be hit with probably the coldest blast of Arctic air in hundreds of years. My buddy Ryan, who is a meteorologist, a PhD, well, he did go to Florida State, though, but nonetheless, he tweets the atmospheric rarity of this cold anomaly is off the scale to be practically impossible from November 9th to 11th. Middle atmosphere temperatures of less than negative 40 degrees Celsius. Extending from the Great Lakes into Kentucky, it might be the most extreme weather event we've seen in hundreds of years. At 500 millibars pressure level, the height and temperature anomaly is actually spherically shaped, a big round ball a ferocious cold attached to a polar vortex pendulum from Hudson Bay, Canada. Temperatures are going to drop insanely across parts of the United States. And while it's happening in Brazil, it's going to be upwards of 90 degrees. While here, we've got some record cold blowing through. They always have climate conferences when the blizzards start. Isn't that funny? I got to tell you about Old Glory Bank. I was able to deposit cash. Y'all, I actually did very well at the craps table. It's the only one I play. And I don't worry about depositing cash on an online bank because Old Glory Bank makes it possible. You go to a local, they got 88,000 locations. In my case, it was CVS. Scan my QR code, give them the cash, and they deposit it in my bank account. And it just works. They put a lot of thought into building Old Glory Bank. They would love to have you check them out at oldglorybank.com/Eric. You can get, like me, no-fee checking, no-fee savings accounts. You can get premium accounts. You get a lot at Old Glory Bank. They've got lots of great accounts. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Businesses, they'll take care of you. Veterans, first responders, active duty military, they'll really take care of you. By conservatives, for conservatives, and you're not going to have to worry about debanking trends. oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
More local news.
Wild scene at a Covington Walmart after an employee.
More traffic.
85 south out of Brookhaven, crowded beginning past Claremont.
More weather.
The Sunnyside community may have been impacted by this tornado.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning
This
at
is a
5.
complicated, controversial subject.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Our top story: the government shutdown. Delays and cancellations continuing to mount at airports across the country, including hundreds of impacted flights today at Hartsfield-Jackson.
The president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association is calling for an immediate end to the government shutdown, saying workers are now receiving their second $0 paycheck.
Congress must act immediately and ensure that all individuals who have not been paid receive their compensation. Enough is enough.
Nick Daniels says controllers are struggling to pay for food, bills, and child care. This creates added stress for people who work in a high-stress environment every day, but despite the hardships, he says controllers will continue showing up to ensure the safety of the flying public. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, let's talk about your weather. Mix of sun and clouds today, staying very cold. You might see a snow flurry or two, but nothing to worry about, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. No accumulation is expected, and she'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. If you are driving, beware. You could hit a deer, and it could happen now more than any other time of the year, especially if you're in Cherokee, Coweta, Fulton, Fayette, and Gwinnett counties. Georgia DNR and the University of Georgia researchers compiling data to show when and where Metro Atlanta counties can expect the peak of the deer rut season, and we are in it now, says DNR biologist Dr. Tina Johansson.
They can be out any time of the day. This window here, this 2 weeks that we're in, is when it seems to really just crazy times of day and just deer running flat out.
Now, she says the best thing to do is be on the lookout and slow down. If you see one deer, she says chances are there will be another. A bid to overturn the right to same-sex marriages has been rejected by the Supreme Court today. The justices declining to take up the appeal from a former Kentucky County Clerk, Kim Davis, to overturn the 2015 landmark decision. Davis receiving national attention when she refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples due to her religious beliefs. One of those couples was awarded damages by a jury after they sued. And this is new this afternoon. Ahead of Veterans Day, Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr announcing the release of a new military consumer protection guide to help service members and vets better protect themselves from scams. According to the Federal Trade Commission, service members and veterans lost over $580 million to fraud in 2024. The Georgia Military Consumer Protection Guide includes advice on how to spot and avoid common scams, along with information on identity theft. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's up 244 at 47,232. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. Nasdaq's up more than 2%, and the S&P's up almost 1.5%. It's 102.
Two homes, same street, same layout, but one had an orchard sign and sold for a whole lot more. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's why that matters. The first seller went the traditional route. Weeks of showings, price drops, frustration. In the end, they settled for less. The second seller chose Orchard and got ahead. Their agent knew what buyers wanted, made smart upgrades, and marketed the home like a pro. It sold fast and for top dollar. And here's the kicker. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, that seller had already moved into their new place before the old one even hit the market. No last-minute cleanings, no strangers walking through during dinner, no stress. You're not stuck. You don't have to wait. You can move now and still sell for more. Start your free home valuation today at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
If your home smells musty and moldy, don't wait. Moisture and mold not only produce that old home smell, it can even weaken your home's foundation. At American Crawl Space Solutions, we stop the problem at its source. From encapsulation and waterproofing to mold remediation and foundation repair, we give you the right solution without high-pressure sales tactics. Get peace of mind with American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value in crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions, foundations too.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Been dealing with a crash in DeKalb County. I-20 westbound, right at I-285, exit 67. That's why you're seeing the brake lights starting just before Wesley Chapel Road. Elsewhere, traffic light issues continue over on the west side, Canton Creek Parkway at Princeton Lakes Parkway. Make sure you treat that interchange as a four-way stop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold today. High 39. Wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. A hard freeze tonight with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, trending just a little warmer. High 47.
Yeah, Christina says you may want to keep those faucets dripping tonight as that hard freeze warning is in effect. 40 degrees right now in Atlanta. Union City has 41, and out in Beaufort, it's 39 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies. And we'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is Eric Erickson across the United States. I'm delighted to have you with me. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, and a whole lot more. Well. Angus King, Democratic senator from Maine who claims to be an independent, but he's actually a Democrat, went on Morning Joe today and said, standing up to Donald Trump, well, it wasn't really working. Defying Trump just isn't really a thing. He's drawing the ire of the leftists who, well, they're not big fans of Angus King to begin with. And to have him say what he said, well, hear him in his own words on Morning Joe.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was practically, well, there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power, Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers, the ICE agents. Under special law, under that big, awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is. So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power.
Yes, it did. It gave them more power. Now, what is being done with that power? This is the point where my Trump friends get a little aggravated with me. The president has said he wants to do $2,000 tariff rebates to people. Here's the problem. The economic stimulus checks provoked inflation. And while the money is out of our pocket to the government, there actually is ample research that you give people $2,000 back and they all go spend it, they're going to provoke some inflation. This could be inflationary. And the president seems to have spoken off the top of his head without consulting to anyone. His Treasury Secretary is now trying to walk it back. Here is Scott Bessent.
I haven't spoken to the president about this yet, but it could the $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms, in lots of ways, George. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. So, those are substantial deductions that, are being financed in the tax bill.
So maybe we get some tax cuts out of this. Here's reality here. The president has come up with two proposals to reduce economic harm to people. One is the $2,000 tariff rebate, which is a suggestion the tariffs did raise money. And you got to keep in mind that just this past Wednesday, the president's Solicitor General argued before the United States Supreme Court that the tariffs were not a revenue-raising vehicle. If they're not a revenue-raising vehicle, how do you have enough revenue to give $2,000 to every American family? That's going to be relevant to the Supreme Court's decision. They don't operate in a vacuum. Secondly, the president has decided he wants to roll out a 50-year mortgage. Now, this is him talking off the top of his head. And I recognize talking off the top of his head. But also, even though the president's talking off the top of his head, people are going to take him somewhat seriously, and a 50-year mortgage would be a bad idea. Now, as you know, I am no math expert. I went to law school to avoid doing math. Every once in a while, though, I still have to do math. Here's the problem. I can Google, and in so doing, Let me give you some numbers. For a $400,000 loan, and by the way, the $50,000 or 50-year mortgage is bad because, the mortgage and home ownership is the greatest way to do intergenerational wealth transfer. The families that are doing the best in America, and we're not talking to the wealthy, we're talking to the middle class. The middle class families that do the best are the ones who have an intergenerational wealth transfer in the form of a family home. If you have a 50-year mortgage, the odds of you having paid off your mortgage by the time you die is actually pretty slim. And let me run the numbers for you. Based on the current interest rate, average national mortgage interest rate of 6.3%, a 30-year mortgage you'd have a monthly payment of $2,300. You know what it would be for a 50-year mortgage? Instead of $2,300 a month, actually $2,398, it'd be $2,105. So you're only saving about $300 a month, but you're going to be paying a much, much greater amount of interest. Let me read you this. The primary drawback of a 50-year mortgage is a substantial increase in the total amount of interest paid. Homeowners gain equity at a much slower pace. For a $400,000 loan, assuming a 6.25% interest rate, the 30-year loan would accrue $438,156 in total interest paid to the bank. The 50-year loan would do $816,396 in interest, a difference of $378,240, or 86% more in interest payments, even though the loan that you pay each month would only be a couple $100 less, only a couple $100 less. Also, by the way, most bankers say that, a 15-year loan has a lower interest rate than a 30-year loan, has a lower interest rate than a 50-year loan. So if we're assuming a 6.25% interest rate, that's on the 30-year. The 50-year would probably be 6.5%. I'm flabbergasted by the idea of a 50-year mortgage. And I'm $2,000 stimulus check. That's a tariff rebate. I'm glad that Scott Bessent is a little bit hesitant on that one because it would. Here's the problem. Yet there are people who say that, yes, as a matter of fact, this money came from us. It's not new money into the economy. There's a problem, though. The Fed just cut interest rates. The Fed cut interest rates to get more new money into the economy. You couple that with a $2,000 rebate, you're going to have more inflation. That's economics 101. This isn't my opinion. This is just factual. So, and again, it's all speculative, but there are times I listen to the president, and I'm like, guy, my man, can you not talk about these policies before you vet them with the people who are actually economically smart, like Kevin Hassett and Scott Bessent? I thought it was very notable that Kevin Hassett did not want to be asked about the $2,000 tariff checks because why? Inflation. That guy, I kind of wish Bessent, by the way, or not Bessent, Hassett, Kevin Hassett, I wish he would be the next Fed chair. I like that guy. He's good. He's done a very good job of defending the president's policies, but also knows when to steer clear of some of the bad ideas that are out there. Now, while all of this was happening, I got to say, yesterday the president was on ABC for the Commanders game, and he's just people these days are kind of wild. If you criticize the president, you must hate the president. If you say something nice about the president, you must be like the ultimate Trump lover. I criticize the man, but also find him very endearing. And one of the reasons is his football appearance yesterday on ABC.
Scored on all of their possessions today. Now the Commanders look to get back into the end zone. This is Krosky Merritt. So Ronald Reagan, well before becoming president, he was a sportscaster. He called Big Ten football. He called Iowa football games. Would you like to call a play?
Well, I would like to do that if you'd like me to, but I will say that your second string, your backup quarterback is a good quarterback, and he's had some very good games for you, and your first string quarterback has the potential, I think, to be a great quarterback. He's got to stop the injuries somehow. And let's see, we have a very important, I think this is a very important couple of plays.
Here we go. Second and 7.
Yeah, 2nd and 7. Let's see what happens. Whoa.
That's
all right.
Krosky Merritt.
Not bad.
Takes it down to the 5-yard line.
That's right. That's right. Good runner.
There we go.
This is a very big play, don't you think?
I think
they have to get a touchdown. Let's put it differently. They just have to get a touchdown.
There we go. Now you're doing my job, because that's what I was going to say. They have to get a touchdown.
Just forget about the play. They have to get a touchdown.
So you've done my job, now you've done his job.
That's the president. One more clip from this when the Commanders do get the touchdown.
Which is a record, so we're doing great, just like they have to do great right now.
Working short.
Let's see what happens.
On 4th down, Mariota throws to the end zone, touchdown!
Just like he dialed it up.
Samuel.
See, that was very important. Got a little ways to go yet, but still, that was very important. Now your ratings have gone up because there's hope.
Now your ratings have gone up because there's hope. Listen, it's possible to disagree with people and still like them. And I disagree with the president on these economic ideas he offered over the weekend, but his presence on TV, he's funny, he's relatable, and this is what drives Democrats insane. Everything the Democrats do right now is reacting to the president. There's so much more out there, but the Democrats aren't even leading right now. They're not leading. They're just they're focused on responding to the president. And thanks to Chris, it was Fox, not ABC he was on. It was Fox. I was trying to watch that game on my flight home yesterday, and they weren't showing that game. I was a little bit disappointed. They had terrible games on the play yesterday. I was forced to watch the Jets and the Browns. Apparently, there is one team in the NFL worse than the Jets. It's the Browns because they lost. Dare I mention the Falcons? Is that too painful for my Georgia audience? It's not the hope that kills you. It's hoping the Falcons can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat that kills you. My goodness gracious. Yeah, I like football season. And I kind of like being able to be on an airplane where I can watch games. But yesterday, every single one of the games that they had was a terrible game. I actually wanted to watch the Bills game, and I couldn't watch the Bills game, which turned out not to be a bad thing. Although I don't hate Miami, but I don't know. I was watching the football games, then I landed last night, and I see all this stuff about the president wanting $2,000 tariff checks. I was like, are you kidding me? Really? Please go back and do more football commentary, Mr. President, and let your Treasury Secretary comment on the economy, because when Scott Bessent is cool to the idea on television, you know what would be good and wouldn't cause inflation? Tax cuts. That's what Scott Bessent proposed. Let's do more tax cuts in a future reconciliation plan, and that'll help stimulate the economy, and it will leave people their own money instead of giving them money back from the government, which won't have an inflationary effect. And right now, Republicans have a cost of living crisis that they themselves have got to deal with. And you can sound like the Democrats and deny it's a problem, but Republicans, you're not Democrats. Stop playing the Joe Biden playbook of claiming that there's no problems, because there are clearly problems. It's showing up across the country, and saying that everything is fantastic, that's what Joe Biden did. Maybe actually go do some more tax cuts and deregulation. Now that the government's reopened, get back to business and fix the economy for the public, and let the Democrats go to civil war over not reopening the government or capitulating and actually letting the GOP reopen the government. The Democrats are going to have this massive civil war now between the moderates and the progressives. The GOP, be prepared to take advantage of it, but fix the economy to do that.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Some better news. Looks like that crash on I-20 westbound at I-285 exit 67 into Cobb County has cleared. Heads up, traffic trooper Dave just telling me about a tree that's down in the Druid Hills area. Briar Cliff Road, just south of North Decatur Road. Already seeing delays in both directions there, so be mindful of that. Traffic brought to you by Total Joint Specialist. Is hip or knee pain slowing you down? Find relief with internationally renowned hip and knee care right here in Georgia. Visit TotalJointSpecialist.com today and get back to what you love. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
1 in 7 Georgians and 1 in 5 Georgia children are estimated to be food insecure.
With SNAP benefits going away in the holiday here, times are especially hard, but you can help make a difference today.
It's the annual 95.5 WSB Triple Team Traffic Food Drive.
Go to WSBRadio.com and contribute to help the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Or come out in person on Friday, November 21st to the Publix located at 11800 Haynesbridge Road in Alpharetta.
Help a local family in need. Go to WSBRadio.com to find out how you can donate today.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Ever been doing the holiday baking, but you can't find the festive sprinkles you put on the reindeer cupcakes? Man, they were right here last year, I think, somewhere. Wouldn't be that way if you had Artisan Custom Closets upgrade your pantry. Your sprinkles would remain at your fingertips all year. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. artisancustomclosets.com.
Run the ball. All over the South during football season, you'll hear fans scream that brilliant advice from the stands. Basically, it's saying, stop all the fancy stuff and get back to the boring but critical basics. Anybody need to do that in their lives today? Stop living distracted by all those fancy suggestions out there. Refocus on seeking God first, prioritizing your family next, and then career and the rest. This is Tom Gray. Run the ball.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
If you've been in a motorcycle accident, move swiftly to protect your rights. It's Eric Von Hessler, and I recommend Steel Horse Law, motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They're 100% local, the only firm that's a major part of the North Georgia motorcycle community. At your next local bike night, ride, or charity event, stop by their booth and say hello. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
'Tis the season. Have you gotten your flu shot? At AllCare, our experienced flu specialists are dedicated to providing comprehensive and personalized care, from vaccines to testing to treatment. And you can walk right in to any of AllCare's 15 Atlanta locations and access our unique combination of primary and immediate care under a single roof. For flu season and beyond, say goodbye to waiting for the doctor and say hello to AllCare, a proud member of the Piedmont Clinically Integrated Network.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a three-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
Hello there, it is Eric Erickson here. The United States Supreme Court has decided to take up a major election case. It is a case involving the Mississippi Republican Party. The Republican Party of Mississippi sued the state of Mississippi. The Republican National Committee joined the lawsuit because in Mississippi you're allowed to cast a vote, and they still count absentee ballots that flow in multiple days after the election. So there's been a lawsuit filed. It has made its way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will decide if votes must be counted no later than Election Day, or can they still trickle in. Big case. The other big case is the Kim Davis case out of Kentucky. The Supreme Court has rejected it. Now, no reasonable person, in all honesty, no reasonable person thought they were ever going to take the case. This is the case of the lady who she was the clerk in Kentucky. She refused to issue same-sex marriage licenses. She was sued. She lost. She was ordered to either do it or leave her post. She tried to go to the Supreme Court, and not only did she want to make a religious argument, but she also wanted the Supreme Court to overthrow Obergefell, which was the gay marriage case. And the entirety of her case was poorly designed. And every legal scholar I know of any credibility said they're not going to take it. The only people who believed it were the Democrats, who were insisting it as a way to delegitimize the court and strike hearts in the fear of the alphabet gang, so they'd show up to vote. But there's really no legal analyst in the country who looked at the case and said, oh, yeah, they're going to overthrow gay marriage. I don't think that's actually the way it works. In fact, I know it's not the way it works. And they were never, I don't think they're ever going to get rid of gay marriage in Obergefell, but they could carve out religious liberty exceptions. This case was just so poorly constructed that no one on the court, including Sam Alito, wanted to take it. Now, I got to move on because I got to tell you about my Eden Pure thunderstorm. I had it in Las Vegas. Thankfully, I did not have to use it. I didn't have an adjoining room. Then occasionally I've had adjoining rooms, and it would wipe out odors if someone smoked in the room next to me. It wipes out all odors. It just works. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com, EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERICK3, ERICK3. You can get 3 Eden Pure thunderstorms for upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. You can hold them in your hand. You can plug them up with a USB cord. You can plug them into the wall. They just wipe out odors. They kill bacteria and viruses. They trap pet dander, dust, pollen. They wipe out odors. No odor can stand up to it. Smoke odors, litter box odors, dirty diaper odors, cooking odors, you name it. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm wipes out the odors. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. Eden, like the Garden of Eden, pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERICK3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. Get 3 for less than $200.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We are headed for a hard freeze tonight. Warming centers are open to residents around the metro area as we are experiencing these frigid temperatures. Centers in Atlanta, Gwinnett, Cobb, all offering warming locations for those in need. We have a full list at WSBRadio.com. So what can you expect weather-wise? A mix of clouds and sun for the rest of the afternoon. Might see a snow flurry or two, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards, but she says no accumulation is expected. We're going to be struggling, she says, to get out of the 30s. All right, as the popularity of e-bikes grows, the city of Woodstock is evaluating how these vehicles should be used in public spaces.
There's a lot of opinions, and people are bringing up some really good points, and we're really looking forward to the discussion at the city council meeting.
That is Stacey Brown with Woodstock. She says council members have discussed growing safety concerns related to higher speeds or modified e-bike operating on sidewalks and trails, especially near pedestrians. Tonight's meeting starts at 7 o'clock. And I wonder what Clark Howard would think about this. Home buyers may have another option now when it comes to mortgages that would stretch out payments to over 50 years. Business reporter Jason Brooks has more.
Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte posted on Truth Social that the Trump administration is working on a 50-year mortgage for home buyers, calling it a complete game changer. 30 years is currently the max term length on mortgages, and by going to 50 years, that would theoretically lower principal payments, which could make home buying more affordable during a time of high prices and elevated mortgage rates. However, it also means paying interest for a much longer period of time over the term of the loan, which winds up increasing the overall cost of the home in the long run.
And Pulte, who oversees mortgage firms Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, did not say when the 50-year mortgage might launch. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is currently up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ is up 2%, and the S&P is up more than a full percent. It's 132.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. To claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now. 404-400-1170.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney Show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Still looks like that trouble's popping out in the right lane again into cab, Sabrina. I-20 westbound at I-285, exit 67. You're slow back toward Panola Road and heads up in North and Druid Hills for a tree down. Briarcliff Road just south of North Decatur Road. Seeing some brake lights in both directions there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold. High 39. Lows tonight in the mid to upper 20s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, trending a little warmer. High 47. Daytime highs back in the 60s by Wednesday.
Clarkston right now has cloudy skies and 41 degrees. It's 38 degrees in Holly Springs. And in Sandy Springs, you have more clouds than sun and 40 degrees. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Let's see here. I am waiting for my buddy David Huey, who is calling in. Every year we partner with Hungry for a Day. And Hungry for a Day is a fantastic nonprofit to encourage folks to just maybe give up your Starbucks for the day and well, be generous with others this holiday season. Yep, joining me by phone, my buddy David Huey. David, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks, Eric.
Absolutely. So let's tell folks, because I know you guys have expanded. You started in Atlanta, where you and I are friends, and now around the country, you guys have been partnering with food banks and food pantries. Probably needed more so this year than any other time, just given the government shutdown. You got federal workers and the like as well who need them. But just talk about what Hungry for a Day is and what you guys do.
Yes, we're an organization that's committed to inspiring generosity, and we do that around hunger-related causes. Like you said, we started almost 15 years ago now, and our first project. One of our first projects was helping a church try to feed about 25 families in their community, and that was 13 years ago. And since then, we're literally across the country. We're from Florida to Massachusetts, California, just all across the country. And it's been amazing. Like you said, we're helping food pantries, we're helping soup kitchens, women's shelters, churches, you name it. Last year, we fed about 65,000 people a Thanksgiving meal. And since we've started, over 300,000 people have had a Thanksgiving meal because people have just said, I want to help a family out when they're hurting.
So, okay. Now, I want to dive a little bit more into this. So, Hungry for a Day suggests action on the part of the people who donate. And can you just talk about the premise of naming the organization and how it's kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, when we first started, we were talking about, hey, how do we help people? How do we help people who are hurting? How do we help out of our excess? And we live very blessed lives. And someone asked us early on, they're like, what if I can't even afford to give, or what if it's tough? And my simple response was, well, hey, go without food for a day so you can help someone that really needs help. And that out of that evolved our name, Hungry for a Day. And we have a lot of people that will take a day off eating. They'll give what they would have spent, whether it's, getting their coffee down at the coffee shop. It's, going out for lunch with their colleagues. It's taking a day off dinner and giving what they would have spent on food to help somebody else. And a lot of times what we eat just in a normal day can provide an entire family help. This year it's going to cost about $40 to provide a family a holiday meal, a Thanksgiving dinner, a Christmas meal. And it's a lot of us spend that in a day. So that's where we are with Hungry for a Day.
So now let's just say, by the way, folks, I'm talking to my buddy David Huey with Hungry for a Day. If you text the word donate to 33777, I'll send you a link back. And if you click it, you got the price breakdown. So $40 provides a meal for a family of four. And so you can do the math. $80 provides a meal for two families of four, so 8 people. When you say that, though, David, on the website, $40 feeds a family of four, describe what that is.
Yeah, so the typical organization that we're helping with these food pantries, shelters, soup kitchens, that kind of thing, they're providing the meat. Usually that's turkey. Sometimes it's ham. We have some that are partnering with, local barbecue joints, and they're smoking some turkeys and donating those. We have one organization that works in the Hispanic community, and they're actually giving them chicken. They're serving fajitas. So it's what we're trying to do is meet people where they are, and everybody doesn't eat the exact same meal that we do. The majority are getting, a turkey, all the sides, the corn, the green beans, the cranberry sauce, the macaroni and cheese. But there's also some really cool situations where we're saying, what do these people normally eat? And let's help them out and give them that food that's, aligns with their culture.
So my wife and I have donated $500 to Hungry for a Day this year. I put my money where my mouth is on this, folks, because we really, you guys have stepped up over the last number of years feeding people. And so let me dwell on something you just said, because I found it fascinating, because this came up last year, that in some parts of the country, obviously turkey is it's very American, but we do have an immigrant population in the country who wants to participate in Thanksgiving, but maybe isn't really down with turkey. And so you guys really have partnered around the country regionally for what works best in certain regions to be able to help the people in that area just to make sure they get what they're going to eat when it comes to Thanksgiving.
I was at a giveaway a few years ago up at the Detroit area, and we had purchased 150 hams, 150 turkeys. And as families were coming through this line, people were literally standing for blocks in a line, or in line for blocks in the snow. I got pictures. There's about 6 inches of snow on the ground. People are saying, like, I need a meal this bad that I'm going to stand in the snow to get a meal. Well, the interesting thing was when they came through the line, it was like, hey, do you guys want a ham? Do you want a turkey? We gave away all 150 hams and I had only given away one turkey. So we started asking people, like, hey, why do you guys want the ham instead of the turkey? And a lot of these were families that were, they're living in rent-by-the-week hotels. They're living in a place that they don't even have an oven to cook a turkey in, even if they know how to cook a turkey. So they're saying, hey, I can take a ham, cut it up, put it in the microwave, or put it on a skillet, and still be able to feed my family. So we're trying to find out and say, like, how do we meet these people where they are and help them have a great meal?
So I've always been impressed with the nimbleness of what you guys do. And just let me describe this process for you guys as well. If you go through Hungry for a Day's website, you text the word donate to 33777. I'll send you the link back. I just tried it myself, so I know it works. You can put in your donation. You can customize the donation. They have some ready set. And then also after it goes through, there's an option to see if your employer does a match, and they'll work with that. And then you guys, it's kind of a labor of love for you and the organization that you don't have like this massive infrastructure.
We don't. Everybody that works for Hungry for a Day is a volunteer. We don't pay any salaries. One of the incredible things that we do every year is in December is we raise our operating costs. Money for the entire year. And it costs a little money to keep a nonprofit going. It's not a lot, but it costs us, 20, 30 grand. And that's our website. We cover all the processing fees. So if someone gives $100, it costs us a few bucks to process that credit card payment. We cover that cost. So when someone gives $40 goes to help a family. And that's one of the things that we do that I think is really phenomenal. And it's an amazing thing. The way you guys have partnered with us is, I think this is our 5th year working together.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the stats because at first we weren't really keeping track and saying, hey, what funds have actually come, through Eric and through the radio show. In 2023, we fed, this is your listeners, gave over 16,000 meals.
Wow.
Last year in 2024, over 35,000 meals. So over 50,000 people have had a Thanksgiving meal just because of the generosity of your community. And we appreciate you sharing it with them.
So, again, folks, if you text the word donate to 33777, there are a lot of people this year. I know the president is noted the other day that the cost of a Thanksgiving meal has gone down compared to last year. And it's true, but it's still up significantly from before COVID. Yeah. The inflation rate has still been above 3%. In addition to now you've got numbers of layoffs that have happened for the holiday season. You got the federal employees who have been without a paycheck for over a month trying to get ready for the holiday season. There's a real need out there from coast to coast for people who need money. So, David, can you kind of describe what else Hungry for a Day does? And there's a personal note here and I'll just tell you, my father-in-law works for a soup kitchen in his community, and David and the folks at Hungry for a Day have also been instrumental in helping them, not just upgrading like refrigerators and stuff like that, but helping with costs for food. I mean, you guys do more than just the holidays.
We do, and we do several projects every year. We've done projects across the world. One of our first projects ever is we helped there was a church that had a food pantry. They were meeting in a grocery store, and they're like, hey, we already got the shelving and the refrigerators and the freezers. We should start a food pantry. And the refrigerator went out. So that was the first thing we did is we helped them fix the refrigerator, repair that compressor. We've helped a literal leper colony, people with leprosy in India. We built this a few years ago, built a bakery inside of a refugee camp in Iraq, and we were feeding about 1,000 people a day for about 18 months, providing them with fresh bread every day. So we do a lot of different things throughout the year. But Thanksgiving has turned into our biggest thing. You mentioned one thing real quickly about the cost, and some of the costs are up, some of the costs are down. One of the things so for the typical family, that price has actually dropped a few dollars this year. The challenge is these food pantries, their costs are actually going up. What was happening before, let's take Atlanta, for example. You had the Atlanta Community Food Bank, And because they were funded by the government, they were providing a lot of the canned goods, think the corn and the green beans, the cranberry sauce. Since they don't have that funding, they don't have those cans to be able to provide those food pantries. So what we were doing a lot of times is, hey, we got the cans, we need the turkey. This year we're having to cover all the cost. So the cost of these food pantries has actually gone up this year.
Wow. Well, look, hopefully people can, and I know there are people who just, they themselves can't this year, but I hope there will be enough people out there who can help and stand up and raise money. It's such a good cause. I'm so glad. I guess it was like so many of my friends over the last few years met via, I guess, Instagram and developed this friendship, and just to watch the generosity that you guys have and to expand it now across the nation from beyond Atlanta to the corners of this country that really need the help. It's been really cool to watch you guys do what you do.
This year we've identified, again, working with the food pantries, the soup kitchens, the shelters. We have over 74,000 people that need a meal. And we're going to do as much as we can to help them out. I think our number will probably be over 75,000 this year. And man, what you do with your community, your listeners, and people that are saying, hey, you know what, I can give a meal. Some people can probably give 5 meals. Some people can give 10 meals. And just saying, hey, I've been blessed this year. There are people out here that are hurting, and what can I do to bring some joy, to bring some hope to somebody that really needs help this year?
Well, hopefully people can step up. David, listen, thanks for stopping by and taking some time to talk about it. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Absolutely. David Huey with Hungry for a Day. And again, this is really important. If you text the word donate to 33777, what happens is I got a system I use because I'm not sitting here texting you back, I promise, while I'm on radio. I've got the system designed. It's going to text you back a link. It'll say help people for the holidays with Hungry for a Day. We'll text you back an abridged link. What you do is you click that link, txtf.co, and some random letters and numbers after it, and it'll take you to the Hungry for a Day website. And you'll see the show logo there. You know you're on the right place. 12 of you have donated so far. We got 12 donations in so far. Text donate to 33777 and sign up and help Hungry for a Day. And this is just me real quick. In all seriousness, no flippancy here. There are a lot of families that don't want help for the holidays. There are a lot of people who have a lot of pride, are on hard times, and they would rather suck it up. The holidays actually tend to be a time where you have greater depression, you have an increased suicide rate, you have massive stresses on families. If you know someone in need and you can help them discreetly and you're able to help them, please consider helping people this holiday season. If you have some extra money laying around and you want to help Hungry for a Day around the country, consider texting the word donate to 33777. You'll be taken to a special portal for Hungry for a Day where you can donate money. Every $40 you donate feeds a family, and it provides a turkey or a ham, depending on their preference. It provides the sides. It even provides a dessert for a family of 4. So $40 will feed a family of 4 their Thanksgiving meal, a family in need. And we have a lot of people in need this time of year. If you are someone who believes in personal generosity and personal responsibility, having people dependent on the government is not something that I particularly care for, or you, if you can, and I realize not everyone can. And if you can't, if you're in need, you may need to consider reaching out to your local food pantry, your soup kitchen, your food bank. There's nothing wrong with you doing it. If you're in need, Americans are generous and want to help you. And take the stress out of your life and just go do it. For your family's sake, for your own sake, for your peace of mind. I understand the pride issue. I do understand the pride issue. There was a time when my wife and I first got married. She had to have a double mastectomy before we had kids. She couldn't breastfeed. And there were months where we struggled with which bills we could and could not pay because we had to have formula. And we refused to get help. And we were able to make it work, but not without all sorts of stress. And in hindsight, I'm like, you idiot, there were plenty of people who would have been willing to help. If you're one of the people who's willing to help, if you text the word donate to 33777, I'll send you back a link to Hungry for a Day, and you can help a family in need. And remember, just $40. If you can't give $40, if you can only give $10, that $10 is still going to provide food for a person for Thanksgiving. $20 will provide food for someone at Thanksgiving. $5 will provide food for someone at Thanksgiving. Every bit of your generosity helps. We've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas. People are stressed out, trying to make ends meet. Unemployment is rising. There have been a lot of layoffs. There are a lot of people who are in this unusual situation right now. If you're willing and able to be generous, please text the word donate to 33777. Follow the link to Hungry for a Day and help a family this Thanksgiving and Christmas season be able to put food on their table for the holidays and have a real Thanksgiving.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
152 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center still jammed up into cab 20 westbound starting at Panola Road, all due to the right lane crash. I-20 westbound at I-285 exit 67. Maybe jump up and use Covington Highway as an alternate. A few brake lights filling in heading into downtown. 7585 southbound from 17th Street down toward I-20. Northbound also a tap of the brakes passing Freedom Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Total Joint Specialist. Is hip or knee pain slowing you down? Find relief with the internationally renowned hip and knee care right here in Georgia. Visit TotalJointSpecialists.com today and get back to doing what you love. Alex Williams, 95.5 WUSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, it's beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's the Sizzle All the Way sale at Omaha Steaks in time for the holidays. 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. I started giving Omaha Steaks as gifts when I was in college or law school. Now, it's been a long time ago. Before the year 2000. They've been around since 1917. And then I had incredible customer service experience with them when someone sent me Omaha Steaks, and the order wasn't, I went to the wrong address. I found that it was too late. The steak was spoiled, and Omaha Steaks made it right. It just incredible customer service, and everyone I've ever given Omaha Steaks to has loved them. You will love them. Your friends will love them. Take advantage of the Sizzle All the Way sale. Get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. An extra $35 off with promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. Minimum order required. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Take advantage of the Sizzle All the Way sale. Load up for yourself, your friends, your family. They make fantastic gift options.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey y'all, it's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson, 877-973-7425. We crashed the server for Hungry for a Day. We got a new link and backup set up during commercial break with them. If you text donate to 33777, you can donate. Already, we went from 15 people to now 86 people around the country. Really helpful, and thank you for your generosity. I'll get to your phone calls on the other side of the break. Right now, I got to tell you about Americans for Prosperity, which has been around the country building a grassroots army of conservative activists. You go to americansforprosperity.com, or you just go to afpvolunteer.com. You sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can help them get the message out on common sense conservative reforms around the country. You can be a part of it. If you want to be a part of it, you can learn how to knock on doors and talk to your neighbors about public policy, or show up at your local city council or your state legislature and advocate for common sense reforms, or you can just be the most informed person in your circle of friends, understanding that there actually are good policies out there on healthcare, on school choice, on business reforms and deregulation and taxes, on restraining the bureaucracy. AFP has all of those issues covered. You go to afpvolunteer.com, afpvolunteer.com. Sign up today with Americans for Prosperity. Get involved in conservative grassroots politics. Make a difference in the fight for freedom and free markets in this country. afpvolunteer.com, afpvolunteer.com.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. A warning going out to drivers in Cherokee, Coweta, Fulton, Fayette, Gwinnett, and Hall counties. You're more likely to hit a deer right now than any other time of the year.
Georgia DNR and the University of Georgia researchers compiling data to show when and where metro Atlanta counties can expect the peak of deer rut season, and we're in it right now.
They can be out any time of the day.
This window here, this 2 weeks that we're in, is crazy times of day and just deer running flat out.
DNR biologist Tina Johansson says the best thing to do, be on the lookout and slow down. She says if you see one deer, chances are there will be another. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
40 degrees in Atlanta. There is a winter weather advisory for some North Georgia mountain counties. When do we finally get a break from this bitter cold? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Delays and cancellations are mounting at airports as the government shutdown continues. Nick Daniels, president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, sends a message to Congress.
Congress must act immediately and end the government shutdown and ensure that all individuals who have not been paid during this prolonged closure receive their compensation. Enough is enough.
He says some air traffic controllers can't pay for gas to get to work and can't pay child care. A bid to overturn the right to same-sex marriages is rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court. The justice is declining to take up the appeal from former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis to overturn the 2015 landmark decision. Davis received national attention when she refused to issue marriage licenses to a same-sex couple due to her religious beliefs. One of those couples was awarded damages by a jury after they sued. Happening tonight in Woodstock, a discussion on growing safety concerns related to e-bikes.
Just clarifying and being sure to tell the public, getting some direction from council to clarify and tell the public where these types of vehicles can be used.
Stacy Brown with the City of Woodstock says council members have heard concerns about higher speed or modified e-bikes operating on sidewalks and trails, especially near pedestrians. Tonight's meeting starts at 7 o'clock. Warming centers are open to residents around the metro Atlanta area to escape this frigid weather. Atlanta, Gwinnett, and Cobb among those offering warming locations for people in need. We posted a full list at WSBradio.com. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
The holidays are approaching, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping on the buy one, get one deals each week. Hey, it's Mark Aram. Yeah, there are BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. I love going in there and just following the yellow brick road of BOGOs. Save when you shop with the latest buy one, get one free items, deals on your favorites, and make sure you check out the BOGO deals before you shop. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
'Tis the season. Have you gotten your flu shot? At All Care, our experienced flu specialists are dedicated to providing comprehensive and personalized care, from vaccines to testing to treatment. And you can walk right in to any of All Care's 15 Atlanta locations and access our unique combination of primary and immediate care under a single roof. For flu season and beyond, say goodbye to waiting for the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Clinically Integrated Network.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
It's now 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. And finally, some good news in DeKalb County. I-20 westbound, that long-standing crash that was at I-285 exit number 67 looks to have cleared, so those brake lights back to Panola Road will start to improve. On the West Freeway, 20 eastbound, a few brake lights between Fulton Industrial Boulevard and the west side perimeter. And on 85 north out of DeKalb into Gwinnett County, a little sluggish, 285 up to Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold today. High 39. Wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. A hard freeze tonight with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, trending just a little warmer. High 47.
Right now, 35 in Powder Springs, 37 in Lilburn, 41 in Stockbridge. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. In lieu of self-promotion instead, can I ask you to please text the word donate to 33777 and you'll be able to help feed a family for Thanksgiving somewhere in the nation. One of the great things with Hungry for a Day is we've partnered with them. They have our affiliate locations around the country. And they have made quite an effort where we're on the radio to work with local food banks and soup kitchens and food pantries in those areas to make sure that our audience is taken care of. So if you're listening right now on WICC or WTIC in Connecticut, know that Hungry for a Day is partnered with food banks in your area. Same thing if you're on KSTE out in Sacramento, we have partnered with food banks in your area. Same in Anchorage, Alaska, same down in the Palm Beach, Florida area, Jacksonville, Orlando, all across Mississippi, Lafayette, Louisiana, Texas, wherever we're on the radio, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri, we are working with Hungry for a Day and through them, your local food pantries and soup kitchens and food banks to make sure that people in our listeners' area are able to give. And so you know when you donate, when you text the word donate to 33777 and you donate, your money's going to your local food bank. It's going to your soup kitchen. It's not going to some random place around the country. We're helping our listeners in their areas with Hungry for a Day, and it's an all-volunteer effort on their part. They do a remarkable job. Now, before I dive into all this other stuff, Nolan from Buffalo, New York has been waiting for a while, and I want to, sorry. Nolan from Buffalo, New York. I was actually, Nolan, talking to a guy, played golf with a guy on Saturday who, an accountant up in Buffalo, and now I'm on the radio up there. So suddenly, I guess I'm going to have to come up there, but not during the wintertime.
Yes, please come up here. It's, it's 2 inches of snow on the ground right now, and it's snowing currently.
Good Lord.
So, yeah.
And then you'll get that lake effect snow off Lake Erie, and you just you get this wall of snow that comes in. I don't know how y'all live.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I'm originally from Florida. My wife and I moved up here. Yeah.
So you wanted to be okay. Did you marry and move, or did you just decide I want to go see what 15 feet of snow looks like?
Yeah. So my wife and I are both students, and she is in med school up here. And so that's kind of how we ventured up here.
Wow.
But yeah, we were absolutely blown away when we woke up one morning and there's literally 5 feet of snow on the ground outside of our house. And so
I can't even imagine that. So now I got to ask, and I realize you called for none of this, and I've kept you on hold for this long, and here I am grilling you on Buffalo because I'm fascinated by the weather up there. But also, are you a Bills fan?
I am now. I am now.
Good for you.
You cannot live in this city without being a Bills fan. It is, they live and breathe, and around Election Day, everyone has signs out that say Josh Allen for president. It's not even a question. You have to root for the Bills. So
I hear he's a genuinely good guy. So I like Josh Allen a lot. So okay, now to your point, I've gotten all of my Buffalo questions out of the way. We can get to your point. Sorry.
Yep. Oh yeah, my point was the SNAP benefits ran out, and my church, we fast every Sunday, and then the money we use for those 2 meals that we've given up, we give to a fund that provides groceries for those in need. And since the SNAP benefit ran out, we actually had 200 families come to our church to get groceries on Saturday. And it was a really spiritually uplifting moment. Normally we have about 8 families that come, and they're in our congregation. So we had around 200 families that showed up. And then on Sunday, my wife looked at me and said, man, the chapel is completely full. What is going on? And I said, well, the SNAP benefits ran out, and these people are here to receive food. And I just thought, let's keep this government shutdown going, because it's causing our church to step up. It's in igniting like members to donate and to help, and these people who normally would go to no-face government and get their food are now coming and listening to messages that are uplifting and receiving that food. And I just thought this is how it's supposed to be.
So, you can say that, and I can kind of chuckle with you saying I wish the shutdown would go on, but, one of my biggest grievances with our current structure in government is how so many people, they don't have a local community relationship for care. They just depend on money from the government, and they don't have that tie into the community. And you're so right. The government has replaced the role of churches when it comes to helping the local community. You don't have to go to church. You don't hear the gospel. You're not given that hopeful message. You're just given a check by the government. And I do think that has done something to our communities around the nation that has deeply impacted the spiritual health of the nation in a negative way. When you wait for Uncle Sam to send you a check, and you're otherwise not really plugged into your community. And churches as well don't have to be as plugged into their community. They can send their kids off to the beach in Mexico to build some homeless shelters there, as opposed to being missionaries in their own backyard.
Yeah, exactly. And like now we know more people who are in need. My wife and I, we're both going to be kind of an upper income family, and now we're in a congregation with all these people who are very low income and who are in need help, and now they're networking with us. And and what can come from that is just so much better than what can come from government assistance. I think church assistance is America's pastime, and it's no longer. So
yeah, listen, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was really uplifting, and I am just amazed at the generosity of people and the charity of people, and I think that America needs that. Like, we need to serve each other, and this is just a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it really is. Well, first, I mean, thanks for being up there and listening, for doing that and calling in to talk about it. I appreciate it, and God bless you and your wife up there for med school in the snow. But I mean, to the point, though, to Nolan's point, I honestly think we've lost something as a society here. Now, just hear me out on this. I'm a conservative. I'm not a libertarian. I'm okay with a social safety net provided by the government so that the very poorest Americans do not have to live as beggars on the street. We have enough of that already. But we lost something in our society when churches no longer had to serve communities the way that they once served communities, because people could rely on the government. And a lot of churches, particularly the evangelical churches in the nation, they send missionaries abroad. They send their kids on foreign trips, and they're not missionaries in their own backyard. And the churches that have stepped up tend to be more progressive theological churches. They take Amos, the book of Amos, my favorite book of the Old Testament, to heart with the social gospel that take care of the widows, the poor, the orphans, and the refugees. And so the progressives, in evangelical churches, you're far less likely to hear a sermon on Amos than any other book in the Old Testament, according to a Barna survey a number of years ago, because the left has co-opted the book of Amos, which sounds very much like a social gospel, and it's not really a social gospel. It's how we're supposed to take care of each other. And we don't do that in society anymore. Nolan is calling from Buffalo, New York, and he's talking about his church has a food bank. And with SNAP benefits out, they've seen a number of people come to church. And the problem with progressive theological churches doing the food banks and the soup kitchen stuff is you're not hearing the actual gospel message. So you're not actually feeding people's soul with the progressive church any more than the government is. And churches having opted out of being a service to their local communities charitably, they take care of their congregants. Now, theologically, the church is a hospital for the spiritually wounded, and churches take care of their own congregations. My church, every time we have communion, takes up a donation that goes into our fund to help members of our congregation. We don't have a food bank or a soup kitchen. There is a more theologically progressive church in town that does. We have very generous members in our congregation, and I love the outreach that we do in our own community. There are a lot of churches, though, that I know that don't really do a lot of outreach in their own community. The poor have food stamps and SNAP benefits, EBT cards. They don't need the church. But they do. In fact, I really do believe, and it's one of my weirdly esoteric views, that as evangelical churches have ceded the role of providing social welfare in their communities to the government and to theologically progressive churches, we have seen the spiritual crisis in this country metastasize. People's souls aren't actually being fed through theological liberalism. Their souls are definitely not being fed through Uncle Sam's man boob. There's no way for people to deal with the soul ailing problems that they have. And the evangelical churches have kind of stepped back from it. And they've stepped back from it for a lot of legitimate reasons, I should say, in defense of them. But also, the government stepped in to fill the void. And by allowing the government to expand the social safety net so broadly, we have given people an easy way out of having their soul fed. By allowing the government to so broadly take care of the needs of the poor in this country, the churches haven't had to. And people haven't needed to go to church for help. And so here comes Nolan calling from Buffalo, where normally they have 8 families who show up at their church. Their church is one that has a food pantry, is known for helping the poor, and they'll typically have 8 families, some of whom are members of the church, and they had 200 instead this past Sunday. Think about that for your church, the generosity of your church. And the message that your church has is not the gospel message, the message that people need. Should you not wish to try to attract people? And you can say, well, Erickson, that they're not really coming for the message, they're coming for the food. Never underestimate the power of the Holy Spirit, folks. I just think that we've ceded too much of the American life to government. And the data in this country, the objective data shows that Christians in America are still the most generous people. They give the most to charity, and they do so because they're compelled to tithe. Progressives in this country tend to be the least generous, and I'm not meaning that to be rude to you. That's just what the data says, that by and large progressives look on, well, our tax dollars go to the government, and the government takes care of these people, but the government does nothing great. Everything the government does is somehow compromised, cost overruns, inefficiencies. The private sector, the nonprofit world tends to do much better. Think about Hungry for a Day that we're partnering with. 100% of your donation goes to feeding the hungry. And Hungry for a Day, 100% of their operating costs, they're volunteers. In fact, they have an opportunity. If you text donate to 33777, you got an opportunity to help their overhead costs as well. Otherwise, it's all volunteer. But they do it effectively, efficiently. They work with local soup kitchens, food banks, food pantries. The government doesn't do that. They filled a role in society where the church and the synagogue, the temple, the local religious community used to fill that role. And now they don't fill that role, and I don't think it's a coincidence now we have such a massive spiritual problem in the country.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Crash in Suwanee, 85 northbound between Highway 317 and 985. Just moved off to the right. Still some brake lights back toward Old Peachtree Road. And the crash cleared into cab. All lanes open. I-20 westbound at 285, exit 67. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. True Natural Gas offers low rates, excellent service, and a loyalty program called True Rewards. See for yourself at TrueNaturalGas.com, where they appreciate their customers. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Stalled Big Rig 275 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Hear you slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Whether it's a walk-in closet, master closet, or pantry, unlock the true potential of your storage areas in time for the holidays. Schedule your free design consultation today at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury this holiday season.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Fall is here, and with it comes cool air and heavy rains. All that moisture doesn't just smell bad, it affects the air your family breathes and even your home's foundation. Hi, I'm Jeremy, owner of American Crawl Space Solutions, and we believe in a needs-based approach, recommending only what your crawl space truly needs. No high-pressure sales tactics and no price increase just because you don't commit today. American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value in crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions, foundations too.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
For your home to be truly healthy, it needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in? Yuck. This is Scott Slade. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home, inside and out, because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Don't settle for the 5-minute outside-only spray and pray approach to pest control. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Text ERIC to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. ERIC tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
You know, so I laugh sometimes about the absurdity of trade regulations and things like that. The Commerce Department has slapped a massive fine on some Italian pasta makers. And it's actually about to become almost impossible to find Italian pasta made in Italy in the United States. Exporters are being charged anti-dumping duties totaling 107% on pasta brands. So there will be some that are still sold here that have gotten around the anti-dumping rules, but 12 major companies out of Italy have been fined essentially a 92% anti-dumping duty because the Commerce Department decided their pasta was too cheap. So that's right. You could get Italian pasta in the United States too cheaply. So the Commerce Department is taxing the pasta. Now, it was an investigation that began during the Biden administration. It is not per se a Trump administration issue. But do you know why the pasta makers were able to sell pasta in the United States as cheaply as they were? Any idea? It's because they were buying wheat from North Dakota for cheap. That's right. European weather has not been good for the hard wheat that Italians like for their pasta. And because there was a decrease in the production of durum wheat in European nations, 1, because of the war in Ukraine, 2, because of weather, the Italians sourced their wheat for their pasta from North Dakota. And they could get it so cheaply from North Dakota that they were able to lower the prices of pasta being imported into the United States. And now the United States has decided to fine the Italians for their pasta being too cheap, but it was cheap because they were buying cheap, really high-quality flour from North Dakota. So now the North Dakota farmers are going to be hurt by the Commerce Department trying to hurt the Italian pasta makers. We live in an interconnected world. Will you forget that at your peril, ladies and gentlemen? Now, let me tell you about Hillsdale College. They have some great classes on capitalism that maybe the Commerce Department and others need to take. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, you can see it for yourself. E-R-I-C-K, forhillsdale.com. You go there. I'm pulling up the website myself, and you can see the recommended courses, Understanding Capitalism, a basic economics course. You can even watch a trailer to see if you're interested. 7 lessons, 30-minute each. Those lessons takes about 4 hours to do, completely free. You learn about the capitalist system. The Federalist Papers, you can take classes on that. An introduction to Aristotle's Ethics, How to Lead a Good Life. You can take lessons on that. You got 10 lessons on that one. And again, they're 30-minute video lectures. Do it at your own pace. Get through with them. You get a certificate of completion. You never pay a penny at Hillsdale College. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You improve your understanding of a topic you're deeply interested in. You get smarter. You impress your friends and family with your knowledge. And it's education, not indoctrination. It's all available at ericforhillsdale.com. Go check it out today.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
This might help, young man. This might cure what ails you.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I run a stupid little radio show. I don't care. Have fun.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Your friend, Eric Von Hessler, the Common Sense host.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. With many air traffic controllers calling out sick, Stacey Lynn reports President Trump has a message for them.
The president posted a stern message to air traffic controllers who have taken time off during the shutdown, saying they must return to work now or their paychecks would be substantially docked. If they left, they would be replaced quickly and won't receive severance. And the president says those who have remained on the job will get a $10,000 bonus.
Be extra careful when driving this week in several metro Atlanta counties. Georgia DNR and University of Georgia researchers have compiled data on deer mating season.
For those of us up here in the sort of metro area, right now is the peak.
Georgia Department of Natural Resources wildlife biologist Dr. Tina Johansson says it means an increased risk of hitting a deer on the roads, especially in Cherokee, Coweta, Fulton, Fayette, Gwinnett, and Hall counties. The holiday shopping season could shatter new records. The National Retail Federation forecasting 2025 holiday sales will rise around 4% above last year's total, topping $1 trillion for the first time. Retail sales in October, excluding autos and gas, rose 0.6% from September, a year-over-year gain of 5%, led by apparel and digital products. Someone in Palmetto wins a top prize of almost $2.8 million, playing the blazing hot 7 scratcher from the Georgia Lottery. The lucky ticket was purchased at a Shell Food Mart on Carlton Road in Palmetto. It is now 2:32. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we don't sacrifice customer service for technology. That's why we offer all the modern banking tools you expect with the friendly, caring service you deserve. This is Andy Harris, and at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you really can have both. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. Over the past 30 years, we've seen countless lives change for the better and health issues greatly improved, if not completely resolved, by customers changing their diets, starting with real bread. At the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real, delicious bread loaded with fiber and nutrients from real whole grains. A healthy, affordable solution for your family that can change your life. For various customers, we've seen cholesterol levels drop 85 to 100 points in just 1 month, blood sugar stabilized, anemia corrected, and hundreds of stories of warts going away. In one case, as many as 500 warts gone in just 2.5 weeks. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. Let us help you take the first steps to better health. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Veterans Day is November 11th, and Findlay Roofing honors our local vets. Who's the bestest boy, Rufus? Dave Baker here. Right now, veterans get a special $1,500 discount on roof replacement, and 0% financing is available. FindlayRoofing.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Hey, Bill, still watching some brake lights between Duluth and Suwanee on I-85 northbound. Crash all off to the right between Highway 317 and 985, but the brake lights stretch back to Old Peachtree Road. Elsewhere downtown, seeing some volume fill in, 75-85 south from 17th Street down to I-20. Northbound getting a little hairy as well. University Avenue trying to make your way up past Freedom Parkway and Peachtree Pine Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy and cold. High 39. A hard freeze for tonight. Lows in the mid to upper 20s.
A little warmer tomorrow, up with a high of 47. Right now it is 34 in Mableton, 38 in Conyers, and 36 in Johns Creek. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there, it is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Let's hop out to Tulsa, Oklahoma and take John's phone call. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Hey, I am doing well. First of all, let me shut down my FedEx vehicle I'm driving so we can talk easier.
Ladies and gentlemen in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm sorry your packages will be delayed.
Not long. I'm not going to talk long. Hey, first of all, I want to thank you for having some perspectives on your radio show that, I don't hear everywhere. Grateful for that. Number two, I'm really grateful that you are willing to talk about your Christianity openly on national radio. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So I go to a local church here. I just want to give you an example of a church that's doing something great, and it's great in a big way, and apologize if I get a little choked up. During COVID, our church was handing out food to people. We were doing rooftop services when the city wouldn't allow us to meet openly. And our church, through the giving of the people, we partnered with the federal government and fed 17 million meals to the people in Tulsa.
Wow.
17 million meals. Now, they go on to do great stuff all the time. Like during our service this weekend, we had boxes of food all over the lobbies for people to take home. And this Victory Christian Center with Pastor Paul Daugherty, they operate what they call Dream Centers. These are places where they have sports available for the kids. They do ministry, free swimming lessons. They give away food every week out there. They do big, huge events to help people with backpacks going back to school. And during Christmas, they're doing thousands and thousands of families that they're supplying toys for and Christmas dinner. And for Thanksgiving coming up, we'll have a huge gymnasium full of people that we're going to feed. And it's the right thing to do this, and it just chokes me up how good the people of this church are to our folks. Now, I got to say this, Mr. Erickson, these folks largely don't come to our church.
Right.
It's a place 15, 20 miles away from our church, and they're too poor to come. Most of them, some of them got their own churches, but that doesn't matter. It's people in need, and the Christian thing to do is help supply that.
Amen. That's well said. Okay, so John, first, I have to correct you. My name is Eric. Mr. Erickson is my father, and he's home listening right now. So don't ever do that again if you call in. But
well, I honor him by saying that.
Well, yeah, and listen, I appreciate it, and I actually, you mentioned I got the church's Instagram account pulled up right now and seeing just the amazing stuff, and that's what it's all about. And I know there are people out there, Erickson, religion, whatever. Just helping people in your local community, whether it's a church or just you in your local community. People have gotten so dependent on a nameless, faceless government in Washington, D.C. They don't know their neighbors. John, listen, thank you very much for listening. I'll let you get back to delivering packages. By the way, John, I know you're still listening, and let me just say this. No offense to UPS. The FedEx guy, I got a great man. So Valerie, our UPS lady, is tremendous, and I love her. The UPS people, other than Valerie, the FedEx guy is he's like our family friend. I'm a big FedEx fan, and Valerie at UPS, head and shoulders above everybody, but the FedEx guy is just wonderful people. I gotta say, and again, I'm trying not to make it theological here for the people who may. There he goes again. Just the basic point. We have lost something as a nation when we have outsourced our charity to our tax system. I'm on a group chat, and one of the guys in the group chat is he's a very committed evangelical theologian, and he's very upset about homosexuality. He really is, and that it's a problem. He's very disappointed the Supreme Court didn't revisit gay marriage. He thinks sexual deviancy in this country, as he would put it, is a massive blight on this country. And I understand it. I understand the theological worldview. I understand as well it's not going to change. And my perspective is, if you want to make a meaningful impact in your community, it's not to get rid of gay marriage. That's not going to happen. It is to help your local community. I think that when Christians get worked up about particular sins that other people have and how they're ruining the country, I don't mean this judgmentally towards any person of faith, because I'm guilty of it myself, but how committed to your local community are you? How plugged into your local community are you? How often do you contribute to your local community, to your Boys and Girls Clubs, your United Way, to your local Salvation Army? How often are you contributing to your local food bank? My father-in-law manages a soup kitchen in his community. And they're always struggling to find people. You know who some of the most reliable helpers are? The prison trustees, the prisoners who are allowed out to help during the day. My father-in-law and his local soup kitchen get a lot of help from some of the prisoners who want to help and who can get out of the cutting grass and other stuff. And they go help at the soup kitchen. And there have been college kids who have showed up. And the college kids, they're there for a day. They got to cook, they got to clean, and they find it more labor intensive than they were expecting, and they don't show back up. And I hear this sort of story around the country, not just from my father-in-law's soup kitchen, but from a lot of nonprofits around the country that help the homeless, that provide meals, that the college kids will show up one time, and that's it. It's one and done. I got a check mark. I proved that I could do some sort of charitable work in the community. And these places are always struggling for people. Or I'll tell you another good example of this is your local board of elections. How many people who run local elections are retirees because guys like you and me don't take a day off from work to get trained, let alone take a day off work for an election. We're relying on the retirees, and a lot of people who are now transitioning into being retirees have never decided to volunteer or do something. And local boards of elections around the country are all struggling to find the volunteers they need to help run elections. But the food banks, the soup kitchens, the things like that, the conservatives seeded that charity. And I actually think it's a bad thing for all of us that we have allowed both the theologically progressive churches and the federal government to fill the void, because in filling that void, we're maybe filling people's stomachs, but not their souls. And we have detached ourselves from our local communities and the needs of our local community, where, you know, who you are your brother's keeper. The homeless man that you see on your way to work every day is someone who is in need. And how much easier it is for us to ignore that homeless person than it is to try to help them. And oftentimes, by the way, I'll be real honest with you, it's not worth helping. They have a addiction, a dependency, and your help is best given not to him directly, to the homeless person, but to the local rehabilitation center, the local homeless shelter that's going to take care of that person and hopefully take care of them. I sometimes feel, y'all, just confessionally, I sometimes feel really guilty when I drive past a homeless man with a sign begging. And because, you know, there is, for those of you who are Christians, there's a thing in the Bible that there you may have come into contact with an angel and you haven't, and you didn't know it was an angel and you helped them. And I'm just like, is this really a homeless person? Is this really an angel? I have a pastor friend of mine who takes that verse to heart so much so that he never not helps a homeless person. If he is driving down the street, you know the people, they're in the median, they're holding up the sign, they're begging for money, he gives them all. He keeps wads of $10 bills to give them $10 bills. His rationale is that's really not enough for them to be able to go buy liquor, but it is enough for them to be able to go buy a burger from McDonald's. It's his rationale. You and I can disagree. And I always feel so guilty because I see the people on the side of the road and I'm thinking, there are so many places that are willing to help you. Why are you begging? And I've seen too many profiles on the media, in the media, where you see the guy begging on the side of the road and you follow him to his Mercedes and he drives off, and it's just a cheap way for him to make money on the generosity of others. And my typical rule is I will fund the homeless shelter and the food bank and the soup kitchen and help raise money for those, and I just don't give directly to the person begging on the side of the road. And I'm if God calls me to account on the final day, I was like, hey, I didn't know it was an angel. And he'll say, well, I told you in the Bible you weren't going to know it was an angel. It's like, yeah, but I helped the local soup kitchen, and I'm going to be good with that. I am. Because there are a lot of people who are addicts and others who make terrible decisions, who basically through addiction or other poor life decisions, and they've found it easy to live off the generosity of others. But there are a lot of food banks and soup kitchens and food pantries that are struggling out there right now this holiday season, and I would rather focus on them. You know, back during the Depression, Franklin Roosevelt used a phrase, the deserving poor. We don't like to use that phrase anymore. As Americans, it offends us. I have gotten hate mail. When I filled in for Rush one time, I talked about people who had failed at life. They'd made terrible decisions and they blamed other people. They'd concocted conspiracies because they couldn't acknowledge they made bad decisions and they failed at life. And I got denounced in the New York Times by a supposedly evangelical writer for daring to say that someone had failed at life. But it is true. People make bad life decisions and blame other people and want to bail out. They never learn their lessons. Like, no, buddy, you failed at life. Failing's not permanent, though. You can turn your life around. And I would rather give to the local soup kitchen than give to the person who's on the side of the road with a piece of cardboard saying, we'll work for food, when really they don't want to work. They just want your cash. If that's an angel, I'm sorry, God, but I've given money to local food pantry to take care of that person when they actually show up. I'm rambling now. Let me go back to the phone. John, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good afternoon, Eric. I'm calling to say thanks for bringing awareness to the poor. The last number of years, due to medical issues, I have type 2 diabetes. I had surgery, and that was the end of me, I should say. And the last couple of months, I've been able to sustain myself through the people that you are recommending to be generous to others. I'd like to say thanks for the generosity of other people that can help people in need like me. I am too proud, have been too proud all my life to be at the game of my life that I am now. So I'd like to say thanks and thank God for the wonderful people out there.
John, listen, thank you very much for calling and saying that. Thank you. And I got to tell you, I know the pride. I do. I joke with my wife that she would rather curl up and die than ask anybody for help. She really would. She does not like to ask people for help. I remember one time she was in the hospital for something, and I was willing to take food from our Sunday school class, and she was so mad at me. She's like, who's going to eat it? It's like, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it. No, I realize the kids aren't going to eat it, but I'm taking care of the kids, and you're in the hospital, and me. I'm totally going to do it. But I mean, we struggled for a while and just didn't want to ask for help. And I know it's a pride thing. I tell you, I've lived that life, but it also, there are people out there who are willing to help. If you're willing to help, if you text donate to 33777, we've hit 190 people so far. If you text donate to 33777, I'll send you back the link. But 190 people have thus far donated. We're getting close to 200. Daniel, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Hey, Eric, how you doing? Yeah, my name's Dan. How you taking care of the kids? And you're in the and me. I'm totally just.
Daniel, you sound
still
like
have
you're
you
a
there,
million
sir?
miles away all of a sudden.
Oh, there we go. I just turned you off of the speaker. How you doing, Eric?
Good.
Excellent. I was calling in on a previous bit that you had about an hour ago versus the 30 and 50-year mortgage, and just wanted to point out, I guess, some differing opinions. I'm calling in from Florida. I'm a retired military, and then also been in real estate for about 10 years here, and have seen everything from the COVID drop to the resurrection of Florida real estate. And I see an opportunity here to sort of use some of the Democratic jargon as far as affordability issues. And if there is the ability to have, some good legislation, I think it could go into, battling that, and then also financial literacy on, the person who's taking out the loan. There needs to be a lot more education on that. So if I, as an investor, were looking to find the most inexpensive money to borrow that's going to be a primary residence, and transferring that to my, generational wealth for, going forward, I would love if my parents had a, almost paid off home where there was a mortgage associated with $25 that I inherited in 2055. At that point, all this inflation has really denounced the amount of inflation that you pay on that loan, and it could continue to allow people to, afford that next step home going forward. And I just thought I'd bring that up from more of a boots on the ground type perspective.
Well, look, Daniel, I appreciate that. My problem with it, though, is let's just look at, the actual amortization schedule on a $500,000 mortgage. Axios has this up right now. On a $500,000 mortgage, after 30 years with a 30-year loan, you're paid off. Do you know, and again, with current interest rates, you've bought a $500,000 home. On a 30-year mortgage, after 30 years, it's paid off. With the 50-year mortgage, you're still going to owe $386,872 after 30 years. And your payment is only going to be $300 less per year than had you taken the 30-year mortgage. So it's going to sound good to some people that I'm paying $300 less a month. But after 30 years, you still got $386,000 to go on your mortgage, and we're going to create intergenerational debt, not intergenerational wealth.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
252 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Still watching the brake lights on 85 North between Duluth and Suwanee, starting right around Old Peachtree Road up toward 985 where a crash is on the right shoulder. Brake lights through Midtown, 7585 South from 17th Street down to North Avenue. And on the south side, 75 northbound also a little slow from Highway 155 in Henry County up to Jodico Road. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under a one special deal. Get your combo tickets at AtlantaIcons.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Tuesday on Atlanta's Morning News, we'll mark Veterans Day across metro Atlanta and the country. What follows the government shutdown, and how long will it stay this cold? I'm Chris Chandler. We start at 5 on 95.5 WSB.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management, there's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on Portfolio X-ray, or click on Full Retirement Plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
We have crossed the 200 donation mark already with Hungry for a Day. We're going to keep it going this week, see how many folks we can help this year. So please text donate to 33777 and get the link for Hungry for a Day. Now, let me tell you about Swiss America. They've been warning people about a secret war on cash out there with the government trying to steer you. I actually had this happen. Of all places, in Las Vegas, I went to a place, won't tell you the name, was not allowed to use cash. In Las Vegas, was not allowed to use cash. The government's trying to restrict you from using cash and other assets and force you to use your credit and debit cards. Swiss America wants to get you their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. All you do is call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it's spreading. So get the report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. Just text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. You can call them as well and just say, Eric Erickson sent me, or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Message and data rates may apply. Let Swiss America help you.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
If you wanted to buy a house, you gave up, and you're like, well, that was an idea. Know that there's one part of the housing market that could provide